no matter how many cleanups you did, it wasn't going to be able to overcome what this one individual had done. And that led me to the Sierra Club. Hello, I'm David Harbeitner. I'm a resident here in St. Petersburg. I'm an active member of the Sierra Club, and specifically, I chair our political committee work for the state of Florida. While I'd always been involved in environmentalism, I was kind of the weekend warrior. I'd go out and help do cleanups, I would do hiking or canoeing or kayaking, things like that. And as I was transitioning back into Florida and looking for how to be involved and how to have an impact in the community that was broader than just myself, sitting on the couch one day, some people may be able to reflect on this, I was reading the paper and it was about our ex-governor, Rick Scott, and how he was dismantling what had been done over decades in a bipartisan way through his single-handed actions to destroy the Department of Environmental Protection by cutting their budget, changing their mandates, the same thing with the water management districts. So the impact that this one individual had, no matter how many cleanups you did, it wasn't going to be able to overcome what this one individual had done. And that led me to the Sierra Club. And the Sierra Club is very involved politically. So while we do outings, we do conservation, we do all kinds of fun activities to connect with one another, we also do get involved both at electoral politics, electing who represents us in Congress or in our local city councils, but also then advocating. So it's not just about who you elect, it's also about what they do once they're in office. Who we elect has a direct impact on what policy gets passed. So we've got these elections coming up. Board of County Commissioners are up for election this cycle, and there are 3 races in particular. 2 are countywide, Board of County Commission District 1 and District 3, and we've made endorsements in both of those. Janet Long and Charlie Justice are the 2 individuals that we believe are stronger environmental voters and will be activists in terms of moving things forward from an environmental standpoint, which when you live in Pinellas County, we have to recognize we all live here because it's a beautiful place. We love the environment, but it also, we are one of the communities at the greatest risk of sea level rise. And if we don't take action to do these things now, these communities won't exist the way that we are enjoying them now in the future. And it's incumbent on us as the current occupants to do what's right for the future generations. So Janet is a great example of somebody who we've endorsed in the past. We've met with Janet multiple times on different issues, and she has been a leader in the resiliency efforts through the Tampa Bay Resiliency Coalition that was founded. Janet was a driver inside of that, working with other environmental organizations as well as many other elected officials around the community to create a space for, I think it's 6 counties to come together and all the municipalities inside of there to talk about resiliency. Because you can't talk about resiliency in St. Petersburg or Clearwater without realizing what's going on in Tampa, what's going on up in Newport Richey also matter. So all of the Tampa Bay communities are coming together to talk about these things and making informed decisions about how they do that. But it's through electing leaders like Janet, like Charlie, who can make a difference in the way that they bring those policies forward. Whereas if you have somebody who doesn't believe climate change is real, that has a totally different impact in terms of what policies they might bring forward. It's really nice when you've been able to watch somebody in office. And I think we can all understand this. What somebody tells you they're going to do is nice, but watching them and seeing what they've done is better. When you get the endorsement from the Sierra Club, it represents not just our local organization, but it's actually the national seal of approval. So we have to go through a bureaucracy of people who approve this. And so you have an interview committee that works off of a questionnaire, but then it has to be sold to the people who sit on a committee that interview committee brings it to, who then have to get another level of approval, and then it finally leaves the area and actually goes up to either the state or to the nation to be able to get that approval looking through a broader lens. It says, okay, with what this person's bringing to the table, what are we going to be able to expect from them? And do we believe that they're worthy of our endorsement in this situation? It's a process that works. And while I bemoan the bureaucracy and the amount of pain and time it takes to make an endorsement, the reality of it is when we make that endorsement, I'm confident we've done our best and that we really want to see, we believe that individual will be better than the others at moving the environmental agenda forward. And sometimes that environmental agenda isn't narrow. You know, we live in an interconnected society, and to believe that environmental justice is different than economic justice is to fall prey to an isolationism, and that what you care about is what matters. And the reality of it is, the challenges that we have, and we'll choose one of the amendments, a living wage. Amendment 2 is on the ballot this time, to pay a $15 minimum wage. We're not even going to get there quickly. I think it's going to take 5 or 6 years to go from where we are today to $15. I challenge anyone to live with under $15 a hour. That's $15 is $31,000. I think we're presently at it's either 7 and change or 8 and change, and that puts you down. I think it's $17,000 if you get paid minimum wage and work 2,080 hours during the year. That is not a livable wage. In a city like St. Petersburg, so many of our communities, that is just not a livable wage. So there's a direct impact. People can't care about their environment if you can't put food on the table. So we have to work together, and this is the same thing with racial issues. Racial equity matters tremendously. The reason that coal plants and power plants get sited in poor neighborhoods is because political power has not been there. And we've seen the health damage that has taken place in those communities. That's not right. The Sierra Club is a great resource from the environmental perspective, and we have other partners we can talk to you about in other parts of the community. There's another organization that operates more at the state level than at the local level called the Florida Conservation Voters. They do a very nice job of following things and having positions, particularly as we get into the legislative session and there's bills moving forward and trying to understand where things are at. So that's another organization. The League of Women Voters is always a great resource, and they have a tendency, and pardon, I'm not a league member, so I might get the way they're set up a little bit wrong, but they have areas of interest, and members of the league in different areas will support things. They have a very strong environmental organization in our local League of Women Voters, both in the southern Pinellas and I believe in northern Pinellas as well. So it's another great resource to learn about what goes on from that standpoint. Whether you like or dislike the Tampa Bay Times, they serve a tremendous role in helping us get the word out and covering local politics. Having a beat writer in the St. Pete City Hall or Tampa City Hall or Clearwater City Hall, that is huge at allowing an issue to all of a sudden become known. If the environment matters to you, whether you like the candidates or not, whether you would do it differently, you got limited number of choices. You got to figure out which one the better one is, and don't just say my vote doesn't matter. Your vote matters. And Florida in particular, your vote really matters. The presidential election could ride on Florida again this time. That is very true. And in our local elections, actually when your vote even counts more. So my whole call out would be is please take the time to vote, look to experts. These are great places to learn from people who've taken the time and really just want people informed and in a better position to make good electoral choices.